RPG 그대로의 RPG 불멸의 전사 2.
Welcome everybody to the SPL on Mondays. I am Valdez, with me is GTR. Tonight we got a couple of great games coming at you. Make sure to stay tuned. How are you feeling today, GTR?
Pretty pumped actually, especially after last night GSL final. Spoiler alert, Zest142, amazing series of games. If you haven't watched that, watch it after Pro League, of course. But
yeah,
our first game today will be Samsung Galaxy against SK Telecom T1, and SK Telecom T1, they haven't been the top dog that they've been in previous rounds.
Yeah, they're not dominating as much as round one, that's for sure. Jin Air has stepped it up. Guys like Rogue are beginning to take best of ones. Maru is still very dominant. And SKT, they've been taking a lot of close wins too, like the 3-2 they took against MVP. I don't know, it's not like they're falling off or anything. They're still at a very comfortable second, but as you said, not as dominant as round number one.
Yeah, and with Samsung, they're one of those teams that always look to try and make the playoffs in that 4th and 3rd place. And
Solar with the golden hair.
Oh, yeah, you know, it is spring right now in Korea, so obviously a lot of the players are getting haircuts, etc., etc. And we noticed there with Solar, I saw him last week with his change of hair. And if you notice, a lot of the players do have new hairstyles for the new summer season coming up.
Yeah, a lot of players like Hero, Myungshik had his hair kind of crazy. I don't know if he's got it styled in quite the same way as he did last week, but Myungshik looking good. A lot of guys, myself included, you know.
Good. So
GTR, when are you gonna get a haircut? What do you think?
Soon, TM.
Soon, TM, all right.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they can online give a donation drive or something to get a haircut. I'm not really desperate for one right now, but as I see here with the team rankings for round 2, as we said before, Jin Air Green Wings leaping over SK Telecom T1, and surprisingly, MVP Chicken Maru is in 3rd place, tied with KT Rollstar.
Yeah, the Chicken team coming up here. One of their losses that they took, as I said before, was only a 2-3 against SKT. So, I mean, that's pretty good when you're going up against one of these very strong teams. You also saw Afrika down there at 0-5, not doing too well themselves. And of course, we do have our winners ranking here. Maru still at the top. Zest, Dark, and Hero tied at 9 wins.
Yeah, all of these players on here are the players that you expect to dominate, except for at the bottom is TY, 6-6. And we know that TY is arguably the best parent in Legacy of the Void so far, leaping over Alive and Beyond, but it's surprising to see how TY is at the bottom at 6-6. It just shows how much depth there is in the KT team.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know. You would expect them to be doing a bit better. 6-6 is kind of an awkward ranking where you feel like Deer from last year, where it's kind of inconsistent when it comes to Pro League. And I suppose maybe he's just focusing on his individual leagues for now. You know, he did just get to the GSL finals for sure. But here is our lineup: Reality versus Classic, Deer versus Myungshik, Solar versus Dark, Bravo versus Impact.
Yeah, obviously 4 awesome matches, and the one I'm actually looking most forward to is Bravo versus Impact, if we get to there, of course, because it seems like both of these players are on the bottom rung of their team, so to say, and I reckon that'll be a really nice slugfest to watch if we get there, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we get later on in the round, these teams want those wins. They want to get as many points as possible, so you generally see game number 4 be these weird matchups. Like, I think we had Blaze versus Ragnarok and stuff like that, you know, where it's like that 4th string guy, or rather 4th tier guy, I'm not sure exactly how you would say it, maybe the 4th best guy on the team. Does come in there at game number 4. I'm also looking towards Deer versus Myungshik. I think that'll be an interesting game. Myungshik is known to be pretty good in PvP, very tricky, but Deer has also shown that he is quite good in that matchup as well.
Yeah, even though Deer did get wrecked by Zest in the GSL scene finals, obviously Deer is still the heavy favorite in that match. As we see here the Pro League events that we have here down at the Nexon Arena in the heart of Seoul, Gangnam. You can get a photo card if you put your name into a box, and then at the end they draw that. We also have the T-World bar, I believe,
yeah,
on the 2nd floor here at the Nexon Arena, where you can get popcorn, you can get drinks.
It looks like they've changed the name. Now it's the Homnanen Zone.
Yeah.
Which translates to like the zone where foam comes out, I guess. I don't... Like a beer? I'm trying to draw a line here, but I don't see T-Roll bar anymore, so maybe they have changed that up.
And also a reminder that if you're also in Korea, you can go down to the iPark Mall Square in Yongsan, where we have the Family Esports Festival. So they'll be on Saturday and Sunday, and there'll be a lot of esports related activities there for you to enjoy.
Yeah, with your family, if they're here too.
Yeah, it is Children's Day long weekend here in Korea. So starting Thursday up until Sunday, it is all holidays. So obviously it gives family men, I guess, family men and women to hang out with their children and celebrate kids, I guess.
Yeah. And nowadays it's really good in terms of the weather in Korea. If you're thinking about coming down, come down around now. You don't want to wait until the late summer where it's really hot and humid. You get to that monsoon season. Come now, and maybe catch round 2 finals. If you came here earlier, you could have caught GSL finals even. But let's get into this game. Reality versus Classic, the PVT to start.
Yeah, Classic, he did get benched temporarily by Alavo V, the head coach of SK Telecom T1, but he's shown 2 impressive wins. First against Zest, and I'm trying to think of the player that he... SOS on King Sage on Station. So the question is, will he do the same against Reality? And obviously, we see here the predictions. Wolf is actually on top.
Look at that, Wolf coming back somehow. He won 1 round last year, but now he is on top. All 7 of us going for Classic, the heavy favorite here, going up against Reality on King Sage Station. Let's jump into game number 1 right now. Up here in the top left, the blue Terran, it is Reality.
And spawning here at the bottom right as the orange Protoss, SK Telecom T1's Classic.
Oh, this is the guy that makes signs all the time, I can tell by his handwriting.
Something about coming back or something like that? No, I didn't read it in time.
Chaser, something about him. We saw one of the Korean fans brought donuts for the Korean commentators.
Yeah. You guys out there on the global stream, you're happy to give us donuts when you're in Korea. So,
Valdez likes donuts. What do you like, GTR?
I like chicken.
He likes chicken.
Oh, Reality. Can you read that?
I think that's Japanese.
No, that's Chinese.
Is that?
It's Chinese, but I can't read Chinese.
Okay. Because you can read some Japanese, so you would know if that is or is not.
Yeah, because that was all in like kanji technically, but if there was a bit of hiragana or katakana in there, I'd definitely say that's Japanese script, but pretty sure that was Chinese.
Still sometimes hard for me to tell when there's when it's not, the regular characters and it's someone's handwriting.
I'm still alive today and forever. Esports, rise again. And then there's all this Korean stuff that can't be bothered translating.
There was also part of life there too, which is kind of interesting considering recent events. We are going to have a big scout here from Reality. King Sage Station was always a map that was known for proxying many times, especially by the Protoss, of course. You used to see proxy Stargates, even proxy Robos from time to time, or proxy DTs. You can see he's even checking all the way over here to the right side. And he especially needs to do that because he did not make a Reaper, so he needs to make sure that he can get that scouting information down. Yeah,
as you said, there's a lot of nooks in this map, King Sage Station, where it's really easy to proxy hidden buildings such as Dark Shrines or Stargates, and it seems like we have another Chinese fan there. I think that was that F91? I saw a sign that F91.
Something like that. And it turns out it's not just going to be a scout, it's also going to be a proxy from Reality. Proxy Factory here. GTR, what do you think?
I reckon it's going to be a proxy starport, considering the positioning of that factory. I don't think that factory is in a useful position that if he wants to build units from it, it's not going to get to the base anytime soon. Quickly than the left side, so it's probably going to be a proxy starport.
Yeah, definitely going to add the starport in there. Might be a drop, could make some stuff, even Widow Mines out of there, Hellions, and just straight up drop into the main on this map. We do see the first Adept coming out here from Classic, wants to go get that scout.
And this isn't really an all-in here from Reality. He's expanding behind this, getting that command center at the expansion. As you also note that Reality was patrolling that SCV at the middle base, I guess. You can't really say if it's a third or fourth because of the way that the map is made. So knowing when that Adept comes, he's able to react to it with his Marines as appropriately.
He's been doing a really nice job so far, even getting the wall up there and making that just to deny the Adept scout at all. And so Classic is kind of in the dark here. I mean, he knows there's an expand going on, but behind that, there's not too much other information that he does have. Is going for a pretty safe build with the, the Adept attack speed upgrade as well as some extra gateways here. And even the Robo wants to possibly go for his own drop here.
Yeah, this is a very bread and butter build here from Classic, getting those quick resonating blades for the attack speed. As we see a bunker actually coming down here below the rocks, so he wants to implement these Marines into his push with these Widow Mines, but there's a huge gateway explosion here from Classic. If Reality gives Classic enough time to get these gateways out, maybe Classic can defend this. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah,
it's kind of weird builds from both players here. Very aggressive from Classic. Now he needs to respond to this. His Mothership Core is very, very late, and there's not even a pylon down here. Has to pull all of his probes into the main, and the two Adepts are out in the War Prism.
Yeah, the consequence of getting that late Mothership Core is that you don't have enough energy to get the pylon overcharges out, and Reality appropriately is punishing Classic for his greediness, I guess, and 7 probes have been killed so far, but the Observer is out for those Widow Mines, and looks like here Classic with this War Prism is trying to do a counter-attack, get some SCV kills of his own. Look at this micro here from Reality.
Really, really cute. It looks like he will eventually be cleaned up, and at the same time, there's a drop in the main. He does have a bunch of Marines here, but with that huge gateway explosion that Classic did go for.
Oh, Siege Tank as well. So, okay, so that factory proxied there was for that Siege Tank, but it's going to be really hard for Reality to deal with these Marines here. Have no upgrades on them.
Yeah, and the attack speed on these Adepts, all the SCVs are being pulled. He's already lost about 17 of them. Microing them back now. Reality just trying to do some micro of his own with the tank. This Liberator.
His Liberator as well, just posturing at the expansion. And this is such a slugfest that we're seeing right now with both these players just harassing the hell out of each other.
Look at this supply, just 22 to 35. All the probes aren't even mining at this point in the main or the natural, but so many SCVs have died at the same time, and the Adepts are still alive.
Like, this game is very wonky because you have to remember that both players still have those the air units to transport their own units on the ground. I mean, Reality still has that medivac to move around the tank, so it acts as a tanky bank. Tanky back. I was about to say
tanky banky.
Yeah, and Classic still has the Warp Prism, so it's really
but Classic, he's not even mining. He can't produce anything with the Warp Prism with his Warp Gates, so he's trying to desperately clean up this tank. He has nothing to deal with the Liberator. It looks like the Mothership Core has gone down, so he can't even try to overcharge here.
The problem with Classic is that he has no anti-air to deal with his Medivac or Liberator, so as long as there's no Stalkers out on the map or even the Mothership Core for any sort of photon overcharge, it's just not feasible for Classic to defend. Okay, here's the Stalker, so
he gets enough to warp in one Stalker, and over here 3 Adepts should be able to win this fight against this small of a number of Marines. Looks like the Warp Prism will eventually be cleaned up, and look at this, the Liberator is going to go down.
Oh, that's huge for Classic there. Taking out that Liberator is just one less threat here on the base of Classic, and it might be able to allow Classic to stabilize as these 2 Adepts just doing their work.
This is an insane game, and it looks like eventually this Adept will be cleaned up. And back at home, the Liberator has been cleaned up, but the tank still survives with the Medivac.
Could you have a look at the unit count for both players?
Okay, we got 3 Stalkers, 1 Adept, and an Observer with 12 probes. And we got 1 tank, 1 Liberator, 1 Medivac, and 2 Marines with 7 SCVs, but 3 Mules, so...
Yeah. This game is just getting so weird now. This Liberator's going to join for the fun here at the expansion, and he's just leapfrogging that tank up onto the high ground, and there's absolutely nothing Classic can do about it. He's only got these 3 Stalkers and that 1 Adept. He has all these gateways, sure, but he has no money to build units.
This natural has been totally shut down. I think at this point he may be pressured to get a Mothership Core out, but there's no pylon that's in a good place to hit the Liberator at the natural, at least. It has been killed by the tank.
Oh, is another... No, it's the same tank. My mistake. But he's going to snipe this pylon here. And once that pylon goes down, that is a huge chunk of gateways that are going to be unpowered. But it's not really that much of a loss to Classic for Classic, to be honest, because he doesn't have any money to build from those gateways, and this Liberated tank harass is just doing a number of Classic here.
Oh boy, he's going for it. He wants that Liberator. He's going to get on top of that tank, trying to focus that Liberator, and he will be able to get it
He
here.
loses 2 Stalkers, though. That is quite a bit of Stalkers, and he loses. Oh! Medevac barely gets away in time. And does Classic still have that War Prism?
No, I believe it was taken out.
Yeah, he was taken out by the Liberator early on, so he won't be able to use that for his own harassment. And I think Reality's posturing here for the final blow. He's going to unpower these buildings. He's rallying Marines over. He has no upgrades on these Marines, but it's just sheer number game right now.
He's just got more units, more stuff. He gained control of his main and natural before Classic was able to, and he kept the pressure up. So back at home, Reality had some kind of production, whereas Classic is still getting on his feet. Now the army's coming across here, and that natural cannot be saved. Not with the small amount of units he's got. He's got only these 2 Stalkers.
Yeah, this expansion here from Classic is definitely going to be raised in the next couple of minutes, even the next minute even. And oh, look at that! All these gateways are unpowered.
Oh boy.
Classic has no gateways being powered right now. He tried to chrono out the, I assume what was an Immortal coming from that robotics facility, and I think this is the beginning of the end here for Classic.
Yeah, he's gaining control of the ramp now. That natural could be focused down, but he's going for these gates instead. As you can see, Classic building another pylon here, desperately trying to get some production online. He's got these 3 gates on the right side, but another Liberator coming in on the right, and the ramp is totally controlled here by Reality.
Yeah, so it looks like this Nexus is going to go bye, bye, bye. And these Marines are just going to waltz up, and honestly, I think Reality can just take the head-on fight and just win it.
Look at Classic, he's going for the last attempt, trying to focus down the tank, but it gets lifted. And even though the medevac does get blown up here, there's just way too much Terran.
Yeah, way too many Marines here. GG. Really nice strategy there from Reality. Surprising all of us here. All the casters picking Classic to take that game, but Reality has an ace in his sleeve, and he takes the first win here for Samsung Galaxy. Reality's
doing work, man, for this team. We've said it before that Samsung is having trouble because Deer seems to be the only one winning. But now with Reality taking 1 win and Deer up next, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Up against SKT even.
Yeah, and even though Solar has been on a downturn of form recently, Reality has picked up his pace, and he's always been this good, I guess, on online tournaments such as the Lumali League and the other Korean-based online leagues that we have. And it's good to see a new strategy from Reality with that proxy factory with the siege tanks and the proxy starport with the medevac. And I guess it just threw Classic off guard. He lost way too many probes. He couldn't mine for any period of time. And when you're doing a gateway timing like Classic was planning on doing, you need money.
Yeah, you need to be able to warp in units, right? That's what you're going to be using those gateways for. And he got 1 round in, but after that, you know, he did some damage in the base of the Terran, but it eventually got cleaned up by the Marines that were slowly coming out 1 by 1. But Classic was never able to deal with the tank, the medevac, the Liberator that were just running rampant around his main and natural, and eventually just fell too far behind. So we are going to jump into a PvP next, Deer versus Myungshik, with Samsung up 1-0.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this match. Not as much as the Impact versus losing my Bravo.
Yeah, Bravo.
Yeah, not as much as the Impact versus Bravo match, but Myungshik versus Deer. Deer did get pretty wrecked in his PvP semifinal against Zest, but Myungshik, a much different player, a more creative player than Zest. So we might see something different, something maybe Deer can acclimatize to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,